This is the World Service of Radio Moscow. Next on our program is a talk with Peter Simon, the General Secretary of the Socialist Party of Australia. He's a guest at the 27th Congress of the Soviet Communist Party, now underway in Moscow. The first question reporter Georgy Murzin asked Peter Simon was about his specific interest in the initial stage of the party congress. Peter Simon.
Naturally, as an overseas guest, I was very interested in the presentation of matters which concern the international situation. We are in the world faced with a very critical international situation, which is very dangerous. The world is threatened by the escalation of nuclear weapons, and unfortunately so far it hasn't been possible to reverse this process. In this respect, the Soviet Union early in January presented a comprehensive plan for control of nuclear weapons for their elimination entirely by the end of this century.
Yes, and that position of the Soviet Union on that issue was reiterated by Mikhail Gorbachev at the conference.
Yes, he repeated the substance of the proposals put forward by the Soviet Union early in January. I think that it's not possible in a few moments to deal with all of the characteristics of this plan, but I think we should draw attention to the fact that one of its first objectives is to get agreement between the USSR and the United States for the banning of all nuclear weapon tests. The Soviet Union, as it was again reported by Mikhail Gorbachev, has suspended nuclear weapon tests and will maintain the moratorium until the end of March this year, and has declared that if the United States joins in this moratorium, then it will continue into the future.
Yes, and that moratorium was imposed on the Hiroshima Day on the 6th of August last year.
Well, that was a very good day on which to initiate it. But we hope that it'll be before Hiroshima Day 1986 that the United States will agree also to join in this moratorium.
Let's hope so.
If this is agreed to, well, it will bring an end to the future development of nuclear weapons, and it will break the cycle of new weapon involvement. And it'll be a very big thing for the world, and make us all feel much safer immediately such a moratorium was instituted. In addition to that, the Soviet Union has again reiterated that Star Wars should not be developed, and has pointed out that the development of the Star Wars program is likely to lead to an escalation of the arms race, probably bringing it to a situation where it would be out of control. Gorbachev made it very clear that the Soviet Union was interested in a mutual reduction of armaments, pointing out that they didn't want to, that is, the Soviet Union wasn't expecting to be more secure than any other state, but also that the Soviet Union could not permit itself to be any less secure than any other state. The thought behind this is simply that there should be a mutual and step-by-step reduction of armaments by all of the powers.
So that by the year of 2000, the world got rid of any nuclear weapons.
That's the proposition, not only nuclear weapons, but also other weapons of mass destruction. And there are these days being evolved through new technologies, weapons which are almost equally potent in their destructive power as nuclear weapons.
A considerable part of the report delivered by Mikhail Gorbachev was devoted to the developments within the Soviet Union, inside the country. What are some of the highlights of that part of the report to your mind?
Well, the first thing that struck me about the report was its very critical nature, about the shortcomings which have been experienced in the Soviet Union, a certain lag in production that was experienced in the late 1970s and the early 1980s. and he made some analysis of the causes of this situation. I think we can say that Comrade Gorbachev is a very straightforward and honest person, not fearing to put his finger on shortcomings which are to be found. He's a man who comes across to me as somebody who speaks the truth about the situation, and is not frightened to face realities, even if they may be unpleasant on occasion. Well, I think that people, generally speaking, are honest. They respond to honesty. They want to see their lives improved. They want to live a fuller life. They want to get satisfaction of housing and hospital services, better supply of things to live by, and therefore they're going to respond to a leader who puts forward policies which it seems to me are going to in time overcome many of the shortcomings which undoubtedly still exist here. I might add that such problems exist even more in other countries, including my own country. And I would very much like to see the day when some of our political leaders were able and willing to make such a critical assessment of their own work. The emphasis in the report was given to the necessity to accelerate economic development. There is no question about the superiority of the socialist system over the capitalist way of life. Its ability to be able to plan economic development, and this is indicated by the fact that this Congress will have before it not just one 5-year plan, but 3 5-year plans leading up to the end of the century. There's not a single capitalist country that's able to look that far ahead. In fact, at the present time, because of the instability in capitalist society, it's impossible for our country to look even 15 days ahead, let alone 15 years ahead, in terms of what is likely to happen. Another very important aspect of the report, I felt, was the emphasis given by Mikhail Gorbachev to the extension of socialist democracy. That is, the involvement of the maximum number of Soviet people in all aspects of management of society and participation in society, from political life to economic affairs to all social matters. I think that even now a very large number of the Soviet people do involve themselves in political matters. There are many facilities for that in the various committees, government committees in the Soviets, or what we would call in Australia local councils, and of course Soviets at higher level as well. But in addition to that, there are the trade union organisations, women's committees, various social organisations, sports organisations and so on, all of which provide opportunities for Soviet people to take part in their daily life. But this is to be even more, this is to be extended even further.
Peter Simon, General Secretary of the Socialist Party of Australia, was interviewed by Georgi Murzin.